What's up, everybody?
What is up?
Welcome back to episode 42 of Morning Market News. With My name is Sal, and we got Cody here. So great to have you guys in here, and thank you guys for all your loyal support. I know that as people are trickling in, it is a Tuesday morning, so we do appreciate you guys coming in and sponsoring this live again with your likes and subscribes. So we're definitely happy to have you in here. While we're at it, before we get going into the basics of the market and what's going on, got quite a bit of topics to cover. But I wanted to shout out to our Facebook page. We're trying to get to over 100 followers there, so give us a like and follow there. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to start doing Facebook only lives as well. So just stay tuned for those. And also wanted to showcase our Patreon. All the videos go up on there except for our lives, but you get the stock pick videos, crypto pick videos, and the videos that are business only that are
I
going to
do
be.
want to mention this real quick. We have the GameStop hype picking back up, and the reason why this is significant is because we look back in 2020 as well. You have people now, retail investors. I had my friend is 23 years old. He's my age. He just texted me and he told me, I got into GameStop and AMC and GameStop's ripping. You know why that's a good sign for crypto? Because anytime retail stocks like that pump, crypto soon is going to pump after that. So we already have retail getting back into the investing community, whether it's stocks or crypto. You have guys that are in my age group, under 25, getting into GameStop, AMC, Bitcoin. That's a sign that the bull run is coming. Like if retail was not investing in these things, then we'd be doomed. But a ton of retail investors I'm noticing are jumping back into the investing game.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to cover that shortly there. Let me just get through some of the basics here. But if you guys want to help support the channel or get early access or get access to all the videos regarding my businesses, definitely, go to our Patreon there. It really helps support the channel and helps us hire people that can help us edit and make this more professional for you guys. But as you guys know, we just love talking about finance and everything here. So Cody and I will do this regardless of whatever happens. We just like talking about it, and we're glad to have you guys with us. So, like Cody said, there's some things going on in the retail stock market world, which we're going to go over in a little bit here. Let's go over some of the basics with crypto because we got the greed and fear index at 55 neutral, kind of slipping back in that range. We got the market cap at 2.27 trillion, trading volume at 75 billion, ETH dominant at 15.4%, and Bitcoin at 53.9%. And of course, everyone's just been pretty stagnant. But I do want to
Yep.
say, like, has been under $100 for quite a few days, and it's right now at 93.15.
On the
I want
crypto side. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and on the crypto side, so quant, I've been dollar cost averaging into quant for this whole time, and right now I'm actually going to open up. Let me open up my list here of
I,
what
I was
I'm.
gonna say, speaking of quant, a lot of people are saying coins like quant are dead, and people, I'm noticing, I've even seen it on crypto Twitter as well, and I've even seen it on some quant addresses. People are swapping all of their quant holdings for positions like Render or Solana, the hype coins, and I'm sitting on the
Mhm.
sidelines and I'm like, wait a minute, why would I trade something that hasn't mooned for something that already has when I can just sit on the positions that haven't moved and DCA into the positions that are the hype coins? That way I have a holding. And there's people that say, oh, if your altcoin on their Bitcoin pairs are bleeding, then your altcoin isn't going to make it. And I just don't buy that for every coin. Like a coin like Quant, it has too strong of fundamentals. And not only that, I also want to talk about how retail investors are getting smarter, as in they're not buying coins that have a low circulating supply, but a high locked up supply. Retail want to buy coins that have 80% circulating, 70% circulating, 50% and below circulating retail, they're not going to get into that.
Oh, absolutely. And this is what I'm saying. That, like we've been saying this for a long time. Cody and I have been holding quant since the beginning of 2022, and actually, really since December 2021, we've been buying quant. And right now, it's low. There's low volumes of quant on the exchanges. Most of it is just people buying it, not a lot of sell action in there, and the fact that there's a lot of big money that's getting involved with it, even though they're doing it quietly, to me just says I got to get my money in there with these big guys because they're in it for a reason.
Exactly. And I looked on the top 500 holdings, and guess what? A lot of the large holdings aren't even active. Like their wallets are ghost. And to me, that's a good sign because they're just sitting on their quant. Like, why would me, a person who has $10,000 in quant, be worried about the price action of quant when there's people who have hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in QNT? And I'm sitting here like, oh no, my $10,000. Like, how can I make the best of it when there's people who have way more than I do sitting in quant? So why would I be worried? And not only that, it's like the quant news of what they're going to speak at next month. They're going to be on stage with Citibank, Deutsche Bank, all these big banks. And the fact that the supply is so low and it's been holding this range, I ignore anybody who says that QNT is not going to make it. I just ignore them because if these people truly knew where the market was going, they'd be wealthy. They're not.
Oh, absolutely. And it's no shade to anybody really. It's just you got to make investments based on your knowledge. We're really heavy into quant ourselves because we believe there's a pretty good return on investment, especially in this next bull run. However, I did liquidate some of my Bitcoin holdings, so I went from 17 Bitcoin to 14 Bitcoin, and I used those proceeds to get into quant, Chainlink, and XRP. So just kind of diversifying my portfolio and reducing some of the risk on there. Although Bitcoin, I shouldn't say reducing risk. I'm adding more risk because Bitcoin's less risky than any other altcoin out there. But I am taking the profits off of Bitcoin and distribute them into other tokens so that way I can maximize my returns for this coming bull run, which kind of puts my quant position at 11% of my portfolio. Bitcoin is now 26% of my portfolio, whereas Ethereum is 13%. XRP is 6%, but that's probably going to change because it's been staying at 50 cents for a while. So I'm going to be adding into that. And of course, Chainlink is 8%, Dot is 10%, and then ad share, everything else, H bar, uh, Arbitrum, COS, all those, they're less than 5%. Not altogether, but each one of them is less than 5% of what my portfolio is. So just keep that in mind that we do change a little bit over time. And despite what the shorts I've been posting, like I'm not just an XRP person or a Bitcoin person or DOT or anything. I'm pretty much diversified over, I would say, all the blue chips that are out there with some little risky bits in there because I think ad share is a risky one, definitely a risky one. But at the end of the day, it's if I'm comfortable with the risk, if I lose it all, it's not going to affect me. I do apologize, guys, because sometimes I'm looking at my cell phone because I get a lot of calls today. As you guys know, I run multiple businesses, and sometimes that kind of distracts me because I got to see who it is. But definitely, I think I made the right decision in diversifying some Bitcoin over some XRP Quant and Chainlink, and I'll probably dollar cost averaging into Dot. Let me pull up Dot real quick because Dot's
Speaking of Polkadot, man, I want to talk about Polkadot's reputation real quick while you talk about that. A lot of people are saying that Dot right now doesn't have the best reputation because one, Giotto is basically one of the big players in the Polkadot ecosystem, and people say he's stealing money from the treasury because one, the dead meme coin launch DED, it wasn't successful when they changed the tokenomics of it, And two, there's a lot of people saying that the people who are promoting Polkadot, they're being paid by the treasury and they're draining the treasury. And a lot of these things, like, yeah, Polkadot is good fundamentally, and it's gonna do well in the bull run. But it's like I can't help but to think, like, dude, like, are these people losing their minds? It's like just because one narrative does so good, they think the other narratives are just dead.
Yeah, and that's just how people are. And what I want to say is people are looking for scams now, and I think because most of the crypto scams are kind of done and buried right now, so new ones haven't started to arise yet, or we haven't taken notice of them yet. But Polkadot has been sitting at this price for so long, it seems like okay, it's dead, but really at $6.67, it's not a dead
Dude,
coin.
in March, Polkadot was at $11, and I did the math. We literally almost dropped two times from March. 1150 to 667. If I do the math correctly, that's a 1.7x drop. And that's why people are saying Polkadot's dead, because when they're not making any money at the moment, they think, oh, I bought a shit coin or I bought a scam. It's like, I understand why people think this. Like in previous cycles, like in 2013 and 2017, a lot of those coins didn't make it. But I feel like people still call Polkadot and Quant like the OG coins. Like they're old. Like, oh, they're old coins. Buy the new and shiny stuff. And to me, it's just like, yeah, that's a good way to make money, but it's also a good way to lose money too, depending on what price you're buying at. So if you trade all of your quant that's valued at $96 for render, and then render goes down to $8 overnight, you should have just held the quant.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing: like I'm pulling up the year chart on Polkadot, and I'm still holding a large percentage of what I have. But also, guys, keep in mind I'm staking what I have, so
Me
I'm
too.
it's making it's I don't have to dollar cost average into it because I'm getting my rewards from staking and
That's what I'm
restaking.
doing.
So, but I do plan on buying some more dot maybe in a couple days if it
I
drops a
don't
little
think it's
lower.
going to go back to $3. I think those days are over with, and I think the absolute lowest Polkadot will go, depending on what Bitcoin does, is about $5 or 480. I don't see it going down to $4 or under. And I get half a dot a day. So if I'm getting more tokens every day, why do I want to get out of it? That multiplies.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But let me just show the comparison because I have to pull it up because I hope they still keep this on here. But we want to take a look at Hex and just so you show a comparison of what something is dead and what isn't. Like this is the year chart for Hex. And you can see it's vastly different. Now, most blue chip cryptos, the ones that have been around for 5 years or more, they all started out low for their year chart and started rising halfway through because halfway through 6 months ago, the market itself started rising and we doubled in value. Now, this one hasn't doubled in value. And to be honest, Cody and I, we haven't seen the promoters on our channel of Hex in a long time, in a
No,
very
they
long.
stopped showing up.
And that's because it's completely dead now.
And
There's no
I'm sure they
liquidity
hate
in it.
crypto.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
And
told them that. And I told them that don't hate crypto when you lose all your money in Hex. And NG Dubs, he used to be active every single day in our Discord. And we haven't seen him active in 8 months. 8 months. And they
mhm.
all used to talk about NG Dubs even said, I'm even gonna buy a little bit of Ethereum, but even he's not active anymore.
So let's just put it this way: if you invested in Hex like because they were pumping it hard at 3 cents, you lost 90. Let's see here, you lost 90%. So let me just put in 100 minus 94 point. Is that 47%? So that means you only retain five for every $100 you put into Hex. You only kept $5.53. So that means
Damn.
the average person put in $5,000 into Hex. So if you times that by 0.0553, that means of their 5,000, they now have $276. And they can't
Fuck.
even get rid of that because there's no liquidity. And this is just in a year. So this is when I say, as my background in being a stockbroker and being a licensed professional in the finance industry, if it's not moving, if a certain investment is not moving with the rest of its community in the market, then it's probably a dog with fleas. And it's something we should avoid. And I've been trying to say that with Hex. I mean, you could have made money if you timed the pumps, but it's hard to time the pumps because the pumps are made from people having like behind the room conversations about pumping this. They're already invested. So by the time people are buying, they're creating the liquidity and the illusion of it by selling their holdings, and people are getting into it. And then when they want to sell, you have 100% people want to sell and nobody wants to buy. So there's no liquidity. And whatever value you have, all of a sudden it just starts dropping, 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 dropping. And then before you know it, it's like this. You're down to 1,000th of a penny. And it's still dropping, even though they're saying, oh, it's going up a little bit. But if we look back at it in another year, Hex is probably going to be even less than what it is. And then
I mean, yeah, I hate Hex just as much as the next person, but I honestly think that if we get back to 2021 levels, we'll see a pump on Hex, but it's not going to be anything like the blue chips. Hex might do a 2x max, maybe.
if you're lucky, I don't even think anyone's going to be going into it because so many people want to sell out their positions that the sell volume will diminish any possible gains from people wanting to put money into it. So,
Yeah,
and
and I
nobody's talking about it online anymore. Like all the
yeah,
influencers that were pushing it, they're not saying a word of this. Not
retail got
one word.
smarter too. Retail, every cycle, retail gets smarter and smarter. And some people think, well, human emotions is still there. True, there's always going to be human emotions. We always have it. But that doesn't disqualify the fact that retail gets smarter every cycle. They just do.
Exactly. And before we move away from crypto, let's go back in here and talk a little bit about Chainlink. I also wanted to let you guys know that Chainlink dropped another 3 or 4 videos of what they're doing. A couple on interoperability and speed, some about new developers, and another one about DeFi and things like that. Very interesting videos. Definitely go check them out. As you guys know, I am holding Link in my portfolio, and I have been since uh really since the middle of last year because we were buying it really about, I would say about mm, March of last year. I think we were, no, yeah, it was March because I got in there at the same time my brother put his large position in there. So it was about March that I got back into this, and it was down in the dumps. We're talking like $3 to $5 range. And it just seemed it had the value, has everything there, just being ignored. So just start buying in. And as you see here, people start going up. Now we're back down in this nice dip right here. In this nice dip right here. And this would be a good time to dollar cost average in. As you guys know, I've also announced, if you've been following and joining us on our Discord, because the link's on the Patreon if you want to join, is I've been announcing when I'm getting in, when I'm getting out, and I'll be announcing today I'm selling my position of Porch Moving Group because I made my money off of it. Granted, I had different aspirations for it, but I wanted to cash out my profits now before the stock market kind of tanks on there. So I'll be announcing that on Patreon, and that'll be a Patreon only video as to why I'm getting out of there, details, how much I made, and the position of it. But back to Chainlink, this is still a tremendous investment at 13.30. Now I'm not with the degenerates that are saying, they're basically saying every coin they like is going to like $800. Like this is probably going to hit about 100, maybe 120 at the tops for the value that's in it. Although I think the hype around DeFi on crypto is kind of dying. However, it's still very valuable for where we're going. And I think retail investors, like Cody said, are getting smarter, and people as a whole are getting smarter and more aware of what crypto has the potential to do for their bottom line. Because you guys got to remember, like just like one of our great supporters, Crypto Dream, everybody's working a 9 to 5, and they're just trying to find a way that they don't have to do backbreaking work anymore. And crypto is where a lot of retail investors are going to go, which, by the way, shout out to Crypto Dream. I know he's been working nights and he's got a family to take care of and everything. So we always wish him the best. And go like and subscribe to his YouTube channel, because it's Crypto Dream for Us. He's almost to 500 subscribers. He's at like 444. So let's keep him rising on there. So, and you guys are new. He's been one of our supporters from day one. So definitely give him a shout out for that. And go subscribe to his TikTok and YouTube channel, because I think his perspective from being in the like the trying to scale his economic position from a family man's perspective and working blue collar jobs, he definitely has a different investing perspective than I do. Because
Yeah.
you guys gotta remember, I own businesses, and maybe like 20 years ago, we might have had the same mentality, but I've been investing so long and my career has accelerated my bit, and now I have businesses that are doing very well. My mindset about money and what I can lose and what I can't lose, and my visions are completely different
I
than
will
what it
say
was.
you are very bold, and the reason why I say that is because if I had your net worth, like I am totally on the idea that Bitcoin is the greatest asset, not only in crypto but in all time. If I had your net worth, I would be all in on Bitcoin, and that's what my plan. Like, I'm not telling you you're wrong. Like I'm in the same coins as you are much. Like I love these. But next cycle, my whole game plan in investing in alts is to buy as much freaking Bitcoin as possible. And people would even tell me I'm crazy that I don't want to invest in the S&P 500 and all of that. And the reason why I say that is because Bitcoin eventually, people don't see it now, some people do, but it is going to hit those collector numbers. Like eventually, we're gonna see Bitcoin at 500. And like you only people talk about Bitcoin 10 years ago. Bitcoin 10 years ago. What about when it's at 500,000? This is your last chance to really buy it at 60K. And if I had millions of dollars, man, I'd just be a Bitcoin collector.
Yeah. But here's the thing, guys. Even I in 2019 thought Bitcoin was a scam and I wasn't going to get involved in it. Even then, like, and just show you how things can change over years. And I just started researching it a little bit more, and then I met Cody, and then we really started researching it and talking to him, talking back, and I saw the once I started seeing the value, then I was like, okay, then it's not a scam. But even though I wasn't in at the beginning, I still made money because I just been dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin as much as I can. But keep in mind, guys, I got insanely lucky in that my businesses were taking off, starting to make money for me right at the time crypto was at its lowest in value for me. So I was able to get in at good prices, and that's just total luck. There's no skill involved in that. It just happened to be luck that I happen to be making money and be able to be at the right place at the right time with the right volume of money to be able to invest. That's all really was. And with those investments I keep making, I hopefully will keep making smarter decisions. But also keep in mind, you do want to diversify too. I know we're a little bit off our crypto topic, but most of my wealth is in real estate. About half of it's in real estate, a quarter of it's in stocks, cryptos, and other investments. And then my income that I generate and the rest of my wealth is in my businesses. And that's how I generate it. And unlike a lot of influencers, I don't buy flashy stuff, which allows me to keep investing and keep growing. because I don't know how they can live those lifestyles, spending $30,000 a day, or like over to each day over the weekend, going to clubs, getting yacht parties and all that stuff. Like
I don't understand it either. You
that is
know,
a waste of money.
the
It's a
reason why
waste of
I don't
money, and you're
understand it.
showing off to nobody. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
I said the reason why I don't understand it is because like me, like I'm what you call a wagey. You know, I have an hourly wage. I'm 23. I live with my parents. You know, and even to like ultra wealthy guys, or not even ultra wealthy guys, because ultra wealthy guys deserve it. You know, but I'm talking about like the influencers. It's like I make probably around $30,000 a year, if that. And I still can't understand buying new Jordans and clothes. Like I look like a bum. Like I'm gonna just be honest. I go 3 to 4 months in between on haircuts. I recycle old clothes. I don't buy new shoes. And most people would be like, man, that's crazy. Like you gotta invest in yourself and look good. Like, yeah, I agree with all that, but there's a time and a place for that because I'm 23 living with my parents working a regular job. Why do I care about looking the absolute best when I can just suffer now and look broke now and have that later? It's like,
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
understand it.
Absolutely. And I don't understand it either. Now, I will say this, as I'm not a financial advisor, but but I could tell you this is that you will go broke trying to look rich. And believe it or not, when most people see you, they'll see the stuff that you have and be like, "Oh, that's fancy." And then but within 7 minutes after seeing you with it, they'll forget about you.
Dude,
So
I
who are
saw a
you?
Lamborghini the other day in Rogers. It was purple. I was in the car with my mom and I was excited about it. I was like, oh my God, like purple Lamborghini. An hour later, I forgot that I even saw the fucking purple Lamborghini. An hour later. And I still remember it now, but it goes to show you that people don't really care as much as you do. It's like when I buy a car next year, I'm not like, yeah, it's kind of contradictory because I'm not buying a beater car, but it's also a car that I can afford at the same time. Like next year, I plan on buying a 2018 Lexus IS, but it's also a 6-year-old Lexus, and it's not something that I'm putting on a payment plan. It's something that I'm gonna buy outright and keep for a decade or more because it's a freaking Lexus. So it's like even then, like yeah, I'm gonna spend almost $30,000 on a vehicle, but that's where the frugal mentality is. Like I don't mind spending $30,000 on a vehicle if it's going to last me that. But some people they're like, oh, drop 60,000 on a Hellcat that I'm only going to have for 3 years to impress other dudes. Because only
Yeah.
dudes care about the Hellcats. Women, they do not talk about riding in Hellcats unless they're sexy red. Women do not care about that. Only other dudes are gonna be like, "Damn, bro, you got that SRT." Oh, that's what a dude would say. A chick isn't gonna say that.
Yeah, and for the young guys that you may be watching us now or watching us on the replay, I'm telling you, it's like women don't really care about that. They want you to see you that 90% of them want to see that you're financially stable, but after that, like unless it like the only thing that's really going to impress them is probably like if you came up with a Rolls Royce or something like that, or a
That's
Lamborghini,
it. Yeah.
or like a Ferrari. But like the Hellcat or like a low level BMW, it's like they're just basically waste of money. And if you're getting a loan for those, you're only becoming a slave to the bank because now you have to pay that. Otherwise, if you don't pay it and it gets repossessed, you entirely screwed over your credit, which you entirely screwed over your future. And no matter what these idiots online say about fixing your credit, it's going to take about 10 years to fix your credit.
Yep.
10
It's
years.
like it's like me right now. Like I still have a good credit score, right? And I owe some money on my Discover card. Like I don't owe that much at all, really. I owe under 4 grand. But keep in mind, I also have 30 grand in assets. And eventually, like, yeah, my credit could be better if I paid it off right now, but I'm paying it off next year anyway. I like it's guaranteed gonna be paid off next year because crypto will appreciate. And let's just say worst case scenario, it doesn't. It's not like I'm going to lose all my money, still pay it off. And my credit would probably boost up tremendously after that, even higher than what it is. Because I'm still at like a 700. It used to be at one point an 8. Used to be perfect. Now I'm at a 700. But, I don't have major debt. It's only like under 4 grand. I'm not even worried about it. My assets outweigh that.
Exactly. And I want to tell you, like when I had debt for for my business, that was the worst feeling ever because every 2 weeks I had to make a $7,500 payment for my debt. And I was like, I'm paying this off and I'm never again getting into debt. Even when I bought new trucks for my fleet, I just waited till I had the cash and bought a few trucks for my fleet. That's it. Like we're not going to I'm not going to go into massive amounts of debt anymore. I'm not going to say, oh, I can afford 25% of my sales in debt. Nope. I want zero debt, saving my money. Even in my businesses, I save half of the profit. So if my business makes $1 million in at the end of the day in profit, I will take half of that and put it into a reserve account for my business. So that way my reserves will try to be if we have no customers for 3 years. And I'm not quite there yet, but my reserves can cover probably about 2 years. I could pay all my guys' salaries and everything for 2 years without having to worry about a customer coming in or out of the door. So that's why when the market's dipping like it is right now, where we're coming to the bottom of this recession, I thought we were at the bottom, but oh no, we got a lot more to fall, it appears. So we're kind of hitting the bottom soon.
Nobody's even
I'm
really
not worried.
spending money like that. Like I've looked over, and unless you have some money, or let's say for example you're a gamer, right? And one of your equipment goes out. Like they're gonna spend money on like a new headset or like a new controllers, or like if one of their pairs of shoes is absolutely broken, they're gonna buy a new pair of shoes. That's about it. But as far as like lavish spending and people just spending for no reason, it's either the people who are financially illiterate or people who just don't have the money. And right now, we're seeing most people, they're not even spending. Like, yeah, there's busy seasons still, like fast food restaurants and retail, they're going to be booming this summer still. But even then, compared to how it used to be, we don't have people spending money like crazy. So that's how we know, we're not out of the woods yet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we still got a little ways to go. However, I think in 2025, after the election, no matter how hard they try, we're going to have we're going to have a real bad economy right as the election. But I think 2025 is going to start getting better. Things are going to start getting better. I'm planning on 2025 and 2026 to be the stabilization years and 2027 to be the increase.
Yep.
So
2026 is when I'm buying Bitcoin like crazy. I'm going to be 2026. I'm going to stay out of crypto. Let's say Bitcoin hits an all-time high of 250,000. I'm going to wait at least 365 days while stacking cash and then buy Bitcoin lower, because that's my ultimate goal. Like I still see Bitcoin as the escape asset. Now, is it going to be money that we buy milk and breads with? No, but that's why I'm kind of have the Bitcoin maxi mindset. Not as in I hate other projects and other projects can't succeed. I'm a Bitcoin maxi in the mindset that Bitcoin is the escape long term. Bitcoin is the escape. And that's what these Bitcoin maxis are saying, and people are calling them crazy. Bitcoin is the absolute escape, and it will be, especially 5 years from now, when we're still going through bad times, and we up into a good economy, and then we cycle into a bad economy. People are still going to see Bitcoin as the way out, and that's not going to change.
oh yeah, exactly. Now I don't think it's going to hit astronomical values just yet in the next couple of years,
That'll
but
take 10 years.
I still think it's going to be pretty reasonable for anyone to want to be able to buy one whole Bitcoin. Even if it gets to 100,000, I still think it will be achievable. But there's a lot of things going on in the economy, and what I also think is that crypto, my last final dip on crypto before we get into the stocks, is that crypto will these the values that we have right now are going to be the same values we have probably or maybe 10% less going for the next 12 months before the actual bull run really starts. because and you still have time to dollar cost average in. And if you're already been in the last couple of years, like we got some great support followers that have been in crypto for the last 4 or 5 years. And once that bull run hits, I recommend you cash out and you get into more cash flowing assets like real estate, because then you'll be able to get in with low cost, because the real estate bubble will have popped by then, and you'll be able to get good properties at a good price. Like I'm about ready to pick up a quadplex of 3 bedroom townhouses for like under $800,000 in Fayetteville. I was looking around and I couldn't believe that that's there, and it's in downtown Fayetteville. So hopefully I can pick that up and add it to my property company there. So, and all I'm doing is building those assets. But moving on to the stock market side, we're still going to see we're still at all time highs pretty much. And I can tell you guys right now, it's probably going to break 40,000 before we inevitably see it start declining. But I'm only going to say this is that it's going to decline, but it's not going to decline like people are saying, like the doomers out there are saying. We're going to see about a 20% decline, and then we'll be on our way back up again. But I do think the tech world is having the biggest shakeout of ever, because all the zombie companies are just falling by the wayside because they can't borrow money. They can't get venture capitalists to get more money because they can't borrow money. So it's pretty much we're done. We're done with the free money. The free money's over. Free money is over.
Speaking of venture
So all these
capitalism,
companies. Yep. Well, what venture capitalists used to do is they would have their fortune and they would leverage their fortune on low interest loans in corporate bonds or whatever that they can get it from. And then they would use that to invest in other companies. That's why you saw these weird, like SoftBank putting in like $50 billion into WeWork, because they were leveraging their assets to borrow money to do investments. And no one ever thought like, oh, wait a minute, what if the company we're investing all this money into goes bankrupt? It was just a thought, because you got to remember, like these venture capitalists, they're not smart with business. They're not smart business people. A lot of them, they just got lucky. No, I wouldn't say lucky, but they made a company work and they sold it. And now they're trying to invest in everything. And they think they're an expert in everything that they invest in. Rule number
nope,
one about investing is you're never an expert. You can't be an expert in everything. You can only be an expert in the things you understand.
exactly.
And that's where I
And
think they fell.
and that's what I was gonna say about VCs and Solana. Like, yes, Solana, kind of off topic on the stock side, but Solana had a good run in 2021, and it looks like it's going to be a guaranteed hot coin in 2025. But I think after 2025, Sol and the whole meme coin ecosystem, and I could be wrong on everything,
Oh,
but I have an
absolutely.
80% gut feeling. I have an 80% gut feeling that Solana is going to be non-existent after 2025.
Um, I used to have that gut feeling, but the phone I did that one big tech guy that always reviews technology, he did a review on the Solana phone, and I
He's
think they'll be
breaking up. This
around.
shit stupid. I hate.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? Maybe it's my mic. Hold on one second. Let me just adjust the settings on my mic. All right, can you hear me better? Just there. Uh Maybe Cody's coming back in. But let me just say, guys, is that I saw that video on the Solana phone, and I think Solana will be really just like a hardware manufacturer after that point. After that point, I don't think they're going to have much. I think their crypto ecosystem is going to fall to the wayside, but their blockchain and the blockchain everything is just they're basically their hard wallet and the phone are going to be what's going to save them as Cody comes back in. But kind of enough about crypto. Let's talk a little bit about stocks here, because as you guys know, we always want some some knowledge on stocks. Welcome back, Cody. Definitely glad to have you back in here. So, is your mic a little better?
Sorry,
Um,
I don't know what's going on, but it's breaking up like crazy.
oh, it could be my connection too. Keep in mind, guys, we're in Arkansas, and we're about ready to have a big storm too. So just keep that in mind here. Um, and my
It's
internet,
running perfectly now.
internet, but
What were you saying about Solana and how you used to have that same feeling? It broke up around that.
well, I used to have the same feeling with Solana, but when I saw that video from that big tech reviewer on YouTube about the Solana phone, it made I think they're just going to have their hard wallet and be a hardware manufacturer. I think that's what they're going to convert over to. I think their crypto ecosystem is going to die, but that's going to kind of continue on. That's just
Solana
my
should be. I think that would be a good move for Solana because the only reason why Solana has pumped, and you can't really say it's a technical perspective because the network has had issues for so long. If this was any other coin, if this was Polkadot, if this was Ethereum, most people would have said, "Oh, it's over with. It's donezo." But the only reason why Solana's not donezo is because of how much money they invested in meme coins and the ecosystem. If it wasn't for the meme coins and the ecosystem, Solana would be cooked. Because if people truly cared about transaction speed and the tech, they would get into things like XRP, they would get into things like XDC. But no, the reason why Solana is where it's at is because of the meme coins and the ecosystem. That's it.
yeah. You're totally right. You're totally right. And but I just think the hardware is going to make it because I like their wallet, their wallet. It has some good use points, and I like the phone. I like the concept of the phone, and I see the phone doing well outside the U.S. markets in areas like India, China, Africa, the continent as a whole, the Middle East, Eastern Europe area. So there's definitely, or even South America, like Brazil, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, like those type of areas. I think it'll do very well, especially in war torn
Yeah,
areas. I think it'll do.
speaking of that,
Oh no, go ahead,
Polkadot
buddy.
also talked about how they're trying to get people kind of.
Cody, I think you're cutting out there. Oh, I think we lost Cody. All right. Well, as you guys know, we do it live. So, um, and unfortunately, the platform that I'm using changed to a new platform. A lot of great benefits, but might have still some bugs to work out of it. So just bear with us there. Cody, if you can hear me, you might have to log out and log back in. Um, and we're going to open this up for Q&A for you guys in a little bit here. If we have time, I do have an interview at 12. And of course, you know how people with interviews, they might show up early. But let's go on to the stock markets here. Uh, I really want to talk real quickly about a few things here. IBM mainly, because I think IBM is a good long term hold for me, and I have a video that I'm putting together in a little bit for you guys. That'll be on the Patreon as well. Uh, that they're doing a phenomenal investment into quantum computing, as well as with a few other good companies out there as well. And quantum computing has been making, even though it's quiet right now, it's been making leaps and bounds towards what they're trying to aim for. And granted, right now, quantum computing can't really do much for us, but the what we're trying to aim for in it and being able to store more data efficiently, have faster processors, faster computing, pretty much faster everything. having a memory system that can be superimposed is very beneficial because you can almost store an infinite amount of data on it. Our thing is just being able to build a big enough device that can do all that without overheating and being able to last like the computers we have right now. And IBM is working to do that along with many others. So I'm actually going to be putting some of my profits of Porch Moving Group into IBM and probably diversifying my holdings a little bit. And of course, if you guys want to know exactly what's in my portfolio, values, and everything, do check out portfolio our portfolio segment. We comes once a month. It's scheduled for the 26th, although that's going to be bumped up to the 19th because I will be out in Georgia on the 26th. So just keep that in mind there, guys. That you can check that out, but you also check out all the replays too. Here's Cody again. Here we go. All right, welcome back, Cody. Is your mic doing good now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's my cellular, but I can't connect to Wi-Fi either because the Wi-Fi at my house isn't working on my phone. I don't know what it is, but anyway.
Well, hey, sometimes you got to troubleshoot live. Some days it's great. Some days it pours.
Oh, some days when we've been on live, I haven't even had issues.
But go on, Cody. You were talking about Dot.
Oh, I was saying that Polkadot kind of plans to do, the unbanking thing that Cardano tried to do. I haven't. What's crazy? But speaking of Cardano, that's why a lot of people don't like it because of things like Charles Hoskinson said about doing all that. We haven't seen much. I mean, yeah, there are developers on Cardano, but we haven't seen much on that side on unbanking, banking the unbanked. I mean, and that was Charles Hoskinson's like original pitch. And that's anyway off the Cardano side. Polkadot plans to do that. I forgot what country it is, but a lot of people will be brought on chain because of Jam and the agile core time and how you can buy block space with the dot
Mhm.
token. And because of those things, the network will have the capacity to actually onboard those new users, especially the ones who don't have banking access. And that's something that Polkadot is doing with Kilt and their digital identity and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And people say the ADA token was made to fund Charles Hoskinson's jet, and that Charles Hoskinson lied about having a degree and all that, and that's why people don't like Cardano.
Oh, absolutely. I could see why, and it's especially now people are frustrated. I don't know if any of you guys on have seen on TikTok the Met Gala stuff going on. Like people are pissed at wealthy people, and especially wealthy people that are flaunting their wealth while everyone else is suffering. And I get it. It's like I ordered a sandwich from because I was so busy in the office yesterday, and I ordered a sandwich from Mike's Jersey Subs, and it used to be $20 for like the sub, drink, and chips. And I looked at, I was like $40. I was like,
For a
good
sub,
lord.
drink, and chips.
I was like, yeah, for a sub, drink, and chips. I was like, God damn. With tax and everything, I was like, that's I can see why people are getting upset. It's like you gotta remember, guys, I'm a Gen Xer, so I remember when like we used to like when I was younger and go out on dates, it was like $25 for two meals, an entree, and two alcoholic drinks. Like what is it now for you guys? What, like 60,
I
70 bucks?
remember I went to the I remember I went to the bowling alley with some girl and we got fast food. I think the total bill after that was like $65
Yeah, that's
just for
that
bowling and getting food.
that's crazy because
And
I
I
don't
told
know
my
what to
mom
say.
about that, and she was acting like I was crazy. She was all like, "That's normal." And she said, "Well, back in my day, I almost spent close to that." I'm like, "No, you didn't. No, you did not."
No, I could tell you for if it was $60 on a date, it was because you did movie and a dinner. And even going to the movies was under $20. Like two adult tickets was like $5. like popcorn was like 3, 2 drinks were like another couple bucks each, and then you go out to even something like Cheesecake Factory would be like $50 for 2 people for like 2 appetizers, 2 meals, and 2 desserts and drinks. So like it's crazy because when you stop to really think about it, the inflation isn't double; it's almost like quadrupled what it was 20 years ago, and that's going to be affecting a lot of people's mindsets as they're going in because I'm saying after this Met Gala, people are going to be trying to get money. They're going to be trying to get money through crypto and stocks and through these meme stocks and through these all these things. So people are definitely paying attention. Uh,
Yeah, and I also want to say too, a lot of Gen Xers, like I know you're a Gen Xer and you're not included in this, but a lot of Gen Xers, even like my mom, it's like they're disconnected from they either know what's going on and they act like everything's okay, or they don't know what's going on and they're just disconnected. And sometimes I feel that way even about my parents, because they compared their lives. When I was 23, I did this. Like my mom, when she gets mad at me all the time, she says like, oh well, I just don't understand. When I was 23, I had my own place. I was dating. I was doing this and that. She's all like, why can't you get some friends? Why can't you get a girlfriend? And when I was 23, I was doing all that. And I'm like, Mom, what the hell? What the hell?
yeah, well, it's also like from a perspective of from women, it's like you guys got to understand, especially if you're a lot of young guys, women don't really have to try as much when it comes to dating. They just have to pretty much say, I'm single and just make it known that she's single and she'll find somebody. She'll be able to date. But for guys, it's kind of hard. I was in my 20s too, back in the day. It sucked, because you're just starting life. You don't really have much. You're kind of like doing the whole go Dutch thing and it's not working out. And of course, women are choosing guys that are more established in life. And now that I'm more established, I could tell, I wish I could go back in time and tell my 20-year-old self, like, hey, don't worry about it. Just focus on making money and, find things that you can enjoy in the meantime because it sucks. And it's because everybody wants to be accepted. Nobody wants to try to run this life alone. And let me tell you something. I've been running this life alone and it sucks sometimes because it's like I
Yeah,
got a
it
lot of work to
does.
do. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But also when I do well, when business is great and everything, I don't have a lot of people to talk to about it.
I do want to say though, it's like uh, other people probably aren't going to agree with me and they're going to say like that's pathetic. But I have a mindset that every girl, especially the ones who say men are trash, they have good men in their life. The problem is they just don't want to be with those men. Every girl. I mean, every girl. You don't even have to be smoking hot. I'm not talking about the girls who are like, don't take care of themselves and stuff. I'm talking about like even sixes and sevens. Like, even those girls can get a man anytime they want. The problem is they want a certain type of man, but the certain type of man they want isn't going to settle down for them. And that's the disconnect. So anytime I hear a woman saying men are trash, where the good men at, I'm like, I guarantee you, you have rejected at least 10 guys that are most likely compatible for you.
Well, I can say this from working in finance to all you guys out there. Stop. Well, one, stop trying to live the Rockefeller life. Only a Rockefeller can live the Rockefeller life. None of us are going to really hit that life. But what I can say is that if you find your chances of succeeding is finding someone within your age group that's going in the same direction, that has the same moral compass, the dreams, you guys are working together for a common goal, you will make it and life will be great. I think the problem is that, like I said, even 20 years ago, none of us were really like, how do I describe this? Like it wasn't like this. If someone, if some, like people didn't like behave like how we're behaving right now, even in just 20 years. It was there were people more dating towards the future and trying to find that person to work together and build up and go. I can't say for what it's like now because I can ignore most of the BS. I have a daughter, I have to take care of her. I'm not going to bring just random women into my life, and my daughter's going to be like, what the hell's going on? You know, you got to fit into my life and what I'm doing. And it's already very hard because I'm kind of like chained to my businesses, so I don't really get out much. But a lot of you younger guys, I get it. It's hard because I even hear the women that work for me talking about it. I overhear it, or they're in the office talking about it, and it's like, where did their sense of realism go? Like, that just doesn't exist. You're not going to find that person. And
Exactly.
so don't it's like understand that you're not going to find the perfect person, because the only being that's perfect is God. Unless you plan on marrying God, there's really not much else. You're going to have to settle for
I
that.
honestly need to marry God. I need a better relationship with God because, in a world like this, to where as a man, people place your worth based on materialistic things and where you're at in life. And when you're like me, you understand that God is valuable, and, you know, you shouldn't worship material things. But it's like people people choose to be around you whether you have those things or not, and people want you to have those things, and if you don't, it's like you're seen as like the outcast. Maybe I'm not explaining it right, but it's just like that. It's like, I understand that materialism isn't everything. It shouldn't be everything, but it's like, as a man, you have to have something to attract something.
Well, let me go real quick. Shout out to Stephen Bryant in the chat. Thank you for watching, buddy. Really appreciate that. I guess you have to explain which comment we were wrong on, but
I
uh,
know what he's talking about. He's when I said most women saying men are trash. They have good guys in their life. They just reject them. And then he said, "Nope, you're wrong. If somebody talks like that, aka saying men are trash, let them go."
well, yeah. I believe if you hate me for my Y chromosome that much, then just walk off. Go be a lesbian or something. Go date someone else. But uh, I kind of want to elaborate on what you said. It's like a lot of young guys is like, it's not really all about money, but nobody wants to be on the struggle bus. Nobody just says, "Hey, I'll ride the struggle bus with you." Not many people, especially women, are going to want to go through. That's hard. That's hard. And the struggle bus does ruin marriages. Even some of the ones that are the most stable tend to divorce because of money issues. I would just say stay true to what you want to do. Keep your financial goals and don't deviate from your finances. Like, don't leave a good job because she's trying to move across country. Let her go. I can tell you right now, that's a big mistake. Unless you're married, let her go. Or if you're in an Ivy League school, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. A guy's leaving an Ivy League school to go to a shit school because his girlfriend's going over there. Yeah, that relationship's going to end anyway. He should have stayed in the Ivy League school. I remember
Yep.
my college
Yep.
girlfriend was dropping out, and I was in a good school, and she was like, "Well, I'm going to uh, this. I completely forgot, but it was like an unknown name college." I was like, "What the hell? No, all right, you can go. I'm going to be here." It's like, best of luck with you, and because like I'm not leaving something my parents are paying for and working to the bone to put me through college and leave because of some viscous innards, to quote MTR. It's like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm not messing up my finances to go chase. I already did that with a marriage, and that put me into the poorhouse, and I had to claw my way back out of it. I don't recommend making decisions based on that can affect you financially. If she's going in the opposite direction and you see that it's not going to work financially, just just let her go. She's already made a decision. You're not going to talk her out of it. Let her go. That's what I can tell you, young guys. Just let her go.
Exactly.
Let her go. And it seems like, because like I know a lot of women will say, well, that's, that's harsh, that's cold, that's misogynistic. She has dreams too. Yeah, she has dreams. She can go and pursue her dreams by herself. I got my own dreams and financial ambitions as well, and I'm not messing that up because she wants to go live through hardship to pursue a dream that may or may not happen. I got my dreams, which
This
definitely
morning, a
go ahead, Cody.
woman that's been on my a woman that's been kind of eyeing me for a while, at least she says she has. She said, I would date you right now if you didn't live far away. We live like an hour and a half, 2 hours apart from each other,
Hmm.
but where we don't meet eye to eye is I'm the type of person that if I like somebody, I will drive 2 to 3 hours to see you. She, on the other hand, she claims she likes me a lot, but she wouldn't drive 2 to 3 hours to see me, which is fine. I'm not dogging that. Everybody has their own preferences, but it's like we didn't meet eye to eye on that. So it's like we can't date just because I'm the type of guy that would do something like that for somebody. She's the type of person that wouldn't. And so we don't meet
Hmm.
eye to eye on that.
Well, you also got that's very good because especially if you're a young man or woman, you got to understand if you're getting into a serious relationship that's leading to marriage, there are going to be times you're going to do things that you don't want to do, but it's for the benefit of your partner. I can't tell you how many times for my ex-wife that I bit the bullet on doing something that I really need to do, but I went with her to help her pursue her career, going to her networking event because she needed me to go and helping her career along. Like like I said, shout out to Stephen Bryant. Definitely got some good thing, and definitely, yeah, I'm all for it. Start a YouTube channel, talk your experiences because people need to hear more real world experiences from people, and we don't hear enough about it. It seems like over the last 10 years, it's all been staged and faked online. So we definitely need to hear more real world. And believe it or not, all you guys, your story is valuable because one day you will get to 40, 50, 60, and that story will need to be told or heard by someone who was in your position. Um, you do, and you are right there, buddy. You do need to support each other. And when you're married, you do need to support each other. But if you're just dating and it's a 6 months old relationship, don't make that financial decision. I can't tell you how many guys like they get a good job, they find a girl 6 months in, they're buying her a car. Don't buy a car, don't buy a house unless if you're married. There's no reason to. Don't do it. If you only know her for 6 months, she can go buy her own car. Even my parents, my mom buys her own car and my dad buys her own car. Now they do stuff for each other. Like my mom will also I remember when she upgraded my dad's car and she did that, but they understood each other and they knew what their marriage was. And they had that crucial talk saying, what do you expect out of marriage? This is what I expect. What do you want me to do? This is what I want you to do. I can agree on that. Can you agree on that? That's what they did. And they've been together for 41 years. So just keep that in mind. And like you can support her goals and dreams, but don't do it like in the early stages. Like if it's a very serious relationship and you guys are actually planning on a future, then it's very important to talk about the future of your dreams. But if you're talking like 6 months in, no idea, I wouldn't take that risk. That's just me. Cause like I don't even take a didn't even take a risk on my ex-wife until like 2 years in. That's when we really started talking about a serious relationship and everything. So, but everyone moves at their own pace, but just keep like every now and then take the rose colored glasses off and try to look at your relationship from a third person perspective. That's all I can really say about it. But financially, if you guys are working together, you guys will succeed twice as fast. So if you met in your early 20s, by your early 30s, you guys probably could have a very nice and peaceful and successful life and be ready for early retirement. But it's hard to find that person, that one person that wants to go with you in one direction. But that's neither there nor here. But I want to quickly talk about Capital One and how these guys are going to go down. Not a lot of people know defaults and credit cards are climbing at an exponential rate, and Capital One is like number three on the top credit card company. And I know I closed out my Capital One card. I paid it off and said, close the account. I don't want it anymore. Just cut up the credit card. So, and I had a nice spending limit too. I'm not keeping any of that stuff. I only keep my Amex card and that's it. And my crypto.com card because um I get XLM back and I trade it for whatever I want. Um these guys, even though they're in a good financial position as a company, but I think down the road, Capital One is going to suffer a huge defeat as defaults go record high. And what also a lot of people don't know is they are offering private student. They were one of the large offers of private student loans. And I really want to know how people not paying their student loans these are going to affect, because you can't bankruptcy out of student loans, and not paying them can really screw up your credit, and you won't be able to get a house, a car, or anything if you don't pay it. So I'm really curious as to what this is going to do, and I think it's going to have a nice downside.
That's why I'm
However,
not in college.
however, I'm saying I'm not saying I'm putting a short on this company. I'm just watching it because I'm that's a gamble, and I don't like to gamble. But I do believe that this company will be going downhill in a little bit because they're not doing a lot of mortgages. They do a lot of car loans, credit cards, and student loans. And given the market and how things are going, I don't know how long that business model can continue. And they don't do a lot of banking either. They just lend out money. So I think they're only banking in like 11 or 12 states or something like that. Maybe 20. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look it up. But I do know that they have consumer banking in New Jersey and New York. However, I don't think it's enough. They need to expand nationwide on their consumer banking to be able to balance out this horrendous risk level. And I just don't see them surviving this. They may be asking for a bailout in a year. Just keep that in mind, and that's probably what's going to happen to a lot of these companies that have been investing in student loans, because a lot of people went to universities. They didn't either complete them, or they went for degrees that were really kind of only good in academia, not really out in the real world. Um, and they're suffering for it now. Now, if you went to Ivy League school, trust me, you'll get a job anywhere. Ivy League graduates get jobs no matter what. That's a different story. But if you went to your average state school, state university, you're probably going to have a hard time. You're probably going to have a hard time getting a job. So I would definitely recommend mitigate. You're going to have to, if you're thinking about going to college and you're watching this, just be mindful of what you're going to get your degree in. And I
You
wouldn't do
see,
business
me,
administration. I'm sorry.
I'm in the category of, I graduated high school in 2019. I honestly look back, I was not mature in high school at all. I did not make good grades in high school. I didn't care about the work I did. I was not interested in school because I knew from day one that university was not my route. I've always been a money guy. I've always been the type of guy that's seen as different, seen as the black sheep. And I've always been the type of guy that if I want something, I go get it. It doesn't matter what the implications are. And I just feel like from day one, like I'm not saying I'm going to go start a business. I don't plan on being a business owner, especially in the next 10 years. But as an investor and somebody who is really good with money, money has always been my route. And no matter what the implications are, degree or no degree, I will always be successful because I know who I am. I don't settle for less. And I'm a hard ass worker. And I have the brain capacity to where I do research and I don't just jump into something. I question everything and I do the due diligence. And I just didn't make good grades in high school. I wasn't phased by school. I hated school and I hated the way it made me feel. So I basically messed up all those opportunities. But then again, that wasn't my dream from day one. I never thought in high school, even freshman or sophomore year, that, oh, I'm going to go to a university. I better work my ass off in school. Like, that wasn't my mindset. I coasted through school, but I still knew that I would be something.
And yes, and I want to let you guys know, if you're not going to college or don't plan to go to college or have never been to college, that doesn't make you stupid. It does not. It does not. What makes you dumb is when you don't understand that your learning process still continues until you die, until you pass away. Like, we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always learning something new. And if you didn't go to college, it doesn't make you any less intelligent than someone that did go to college. The only thing that's going to make you look like an ignoramus is if you don't continually read, learn, and grow yourself in the directions. If you can't learn a new topic, then I would say that makes you an ignoramus. I wouldn't say that if you didn't go to college, I look down on you. Now, I will say this: if you want to go into investment banking, STEM, high level finance positions, you will need a degree. And right now, I could tell you right now, if you want to make a lot of money as an investment banker, the average physicist and and anyone with a degree in mathematics or physics is making about $500,000 a year as an analyst working for a Wall Street firm, because they value those type of skills in that market and trying to use mathematics and quantum mechanics to try to predict the market. And they're hiring those people in droves, and it's paying more than you can possibly imagine for that position. So just keep in mind, if you went into for physics and you can't get a job in physics, you can still go to Wall Street and they'll pay you very well because you have a degree in physics, mathematics, or whatever. Or even if you have economics and finance as your major, that you're still going to make it over there. But we're all about the same level of intelligence. It's just a matter of what we put our effort into. If you never put effort into learning, then you're never going to grow and you're always going to miss opportunities. But even if you never went to college, or even if you just got your GED, or even if you just graduated high school, or even if you had to go back because you had a kid in high school and you had to go back get your GED and you feel like you're steps behind, you are not. You are not. As long as you are aware of your position
I
and you
agree
have
with what
to
Stefan.
get there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
Oh, I was saying
Cody.
I agree with what he said. He said this is correct. Always learning. Many individuals I know that are well off have a GED. That's facts. I date my first girlfriend. Her dad didn't go to college, or not my first girlfriend. A girl I dated after that. He didn't have a college degree. They were living in a $700,000 house. I asked him if he went to college. He said he's never been to college a day in his life. He has a $700,000 house, and I asked him, "Did you have rich parents?" And he said no. He said, "I worked hard. I worked hard, and I did good with my money." He didn't go to college a day in his life. Lives in a $700,000 house.
And just keep in mind, guys, like, it's all about your effort. Yes, there is luck involved. Don't discredit that luck is involved. But if you have a plan, and I don't mean saying I'm trying to become a millionaire in 12 months, but if you're saying, like, I want to have $1 million net worth in 10 years, you will probably hit it faster than you think. As long as you have a plan to where you want to be and where you got to go, and where you want to and how you want to accomplish it, you will get there.
Yeah,
And
and
as
just
long as you don't deviate from it, you should be fine.
And just like me, Sal, you know my plan by age 30. I've already told you I plan to hit at least 1 million in net worth by age 30. I already have 30K in assets. It's like that 30K is going to more than likely turn into over 100,000, because that's all my goal is. I'm not trying to make 300, 400, 500K from this bull run. My plan is to walk away with at least 100K. And my belief is if you have your first 100K, it is very much easier to hit 1 million. And I know from age 24 to 30, with $100,000 starting off at age 24, I can build up to 1 million in 6 years, or maybe even less than 6 years, because of how my mindset is.
Yes, and I want to say one final thing because we're coming to the end, and I got to start preparing for a gentleman that's coming in for an interview for one of my open positions. But everyone moves at their own pace. Everybody has success at their own pace, and success is different depending on each individual. What one person says success is, the other person is going to say something different. So some people think being able to provide for their family and watching their kids grow is success. Some people may say you don't have success until you have a yacht and a Lambo. Some people say success is I'm not beholden to any company or anywhere because I have no debt and I own my house and I own my car. Success is what you make of it. And if you feel that you're successful, then you are successful. But if you feel like you're not there yet, then you got to sit down and have an honest chat with yourself. And you have to sit. It's kind of like when I was over 500 pounds. I had to look in the mirror and say, I'm a fat motherfucker. And I had to say, look, I'm a fat motherfucker. This is what I'm going to have to do. I have to come up with a realistic plan. I can't say I'm 500 pounds. I want to be ripped in 180 in 1 year. Not going to happen. And it's going to cause massive health effects. No, I'm big. It took me a decade to get this big. I was in shape before. Now I'm not. So maybe I should just say, take this one step at a time. So let's start working on the diet. Cut out soda, cut out the sweets, cut out sugar, cut out the things, but do it slowly, not like cold turkey. Just slowly take away, slowly start replacing some things with some healthier options. Start on a workout regimen, 20 minutes a day. Then take 20 minutes after a few months, 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, maybe go up to 40. And after 40, maybe go to an hour, and so on. It's the same thing with lifting weights. You're not going to just start lifting weights and in 90 days be buff as hell. You're going to lift weights, and in 90 days, you will probably be just a little bit better than you were before. So just understanding your position and being honest with yourself at where you are, you can just start to affect the change, and it'll start happening before you know it. The only thing is you just got to be consistent with it. It's kind of like that movie Groundhog Day. It's the same thing, same boring routine every day for a very long time. Just like with building my business, it's really the same thing. Get up, give the good service, give good follow up, give the best value for the best price, and always stay on top of managing my budget. It's boring running businesses. It's the same crap every day. It seems like I'm busy, and I am busy, but I'm busy with the same stuff every day. It looks like, man, everything's different. Sal's always on the run. Sal's always busy, but I'm really just doing the same thing I was doing day in, day out. I interview people, I train people, I watch my budget, I watch what I'm spending my money on, and I make sure that I maintain the quality and reputation of my business. That's it. And it took 6 years to get to this point, and I'm going on my seventh year of being open for business, and it's now finally starting to pay off. And Stephen is right. You will change it when you are ready. Yes, and when you're ready, you'll have that honest talk. And it's like, I don't think you can shock someone into it. I don't think you can make someone into it. I don't think you can beat someone into it. They have to choose it. They have to choose it, and you have to choose the success. And maybe one day, if you just keep stalling and procrastinating, maybe one day you'll just say, I had enough and I'm ready to start. But once you're ready to start, it'll be an honest decision with yourself. And you're going to have to come up with basically a 10-year plan of how you're going to get to where you want to be. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it'll ever be. Just like Dave Ramsey's advice on building wealth. It's the same thing. Spend less than you make. That's it. That's the secret sauce. Spend less than what you make. The next step is try to make the best decisions you can. So like when you hit your first million, don't go buy a Lambo and start investing in alternative revenue sources. Slowly build. Slowly. This is why they always say the tortoise always beats the hare. Because with fast money comes fast problems. With slow money comes no problems. I'm just saying. But with that, guys, I think we're going to call it quits. I really appreciate you guys. We will be back on live at the end of today, probably around 4 o'clock. So look out for that one because I'm going to try to start doing our morning market news and our market close. So with that said, guys, really appreciate you guys coming in. If you can hit that like and subscribe button, give us a good follow. And if you guys want to check out all our videos, they're all on YouTube, all the replays of all the lives, all our videos. I don't take anything down. You can definitely take a look at it. Plus, I have a lot of my old videos up there from me being in that that roach infested apartment doing videos. And at that point, I was basically plumb broke. Like I had money, but I was giving it to my ex-wife. So that's a good time. You can see me at that point. And that's when I started gaining weight because you can see me gain weight throughout the videos. Even I look like, oh my God, I was a pudgy butter. But yeah, it is what it is. I got my plan. I got my game plan. And you guys can see that as I'm going. So really appreciate you guys. We're going to call it quits for today. And I will check you guys later. So